secrets to credit. That's what I'm going to focus on today. I'm going to tell you what you can do to ensure that your credit and your beacon score is as high as possible. The first thing I'm going to strongly suggest is that you go to equifax.ca and you request a copy of your own credit bureau. You're going to request option number 2. It's going to cost about $25 and it's called Power Score. It's going to give you two things. It's going to give you your credit bureau, but it's also going to show you your credit score or your beacon score. And as you may or may not know, your credit score is the #1 thing that lenders look at before they look at the rest of your credit bureau. The higher your beacon score, the better off, the better the rates, the better the programs. The lower your beacon score, the more of a credit risk you're deemed to be by the lender. So optimum is to keep your credit score as high as possible. I'm going to show you how you can do that today. First, I just want to go over what you're going to see when you look at your credit bureau. First thing you're going to see is your credit score. You're going to see your name. You're going to see your address from most recent to previous. You're going to see what you do for a living. But the next thing you're going to see is extremely important. It's a list of all the inquiries that have been made on your credit bureau. A list of all the companies that have requested to see your credit bureau. Now, I can't stress this enough. The more inquiries that you have on your credit bureau, the lessening effect it has on your beacon score. So it brings your score down with the more inquiries that you have. So let me give you an example. A client of mine's walking through a department store and they're stopped by this young lady who's offering a free gift, and all they have to do is fill out a quick application for a free department store credit card. Sounds sweet. They sign, they get the gift, they walk away. What they didn't realize is they just authorized that department store to do an inquiry on their credit bureau. So please be very diligent with this type of application. Second example, you like me have probably received numerous Visa, MasterCard, many of the credit card companies sending you different options in the mail with great rates and transfer options. What you don't realize is as soon as you fill this out, you authorize that company to do an inquiry. So like I said, be very careful. Third example, a client of mine comes to me and I do their mortgage, but what they didn't realize is before they came to me, they went to a couple of different banks and they sat down with their bank manager and they filled out a quick application and they wanted to know what their rates were. What they didn't realize is every time they filled out that application, it authorized that bank to do an inquiry. Now there's a big distinction between what the bank does and what I do. I do one inquiry and I use it everywhere. The banks each have to do their individual inquiries. So like I said, the more inquiries you have, the worse it is. So please keep your inquiries down. Next thing you're going to see is you're going to see a list of all your credit. From bank loans, car leases, department store credit cards, Visas, MasterCards, American Express, everything. It's going to have a list of not only the credit, it's going to have a list of when you got it, what your credit limit is, what your credit balance is, and it's going to show your payment history, which is very, very important. The #1 thing you got to ensure you do is make at least your minimum payment on time. Don't rely on the mail. You send it out a couple of days before the due date, gets stuck in mail. If it's late, it's going to get reported as late and it stays on your credit bureau for 6 years. So make sure you make your payment on time. The next thing I'm going to tell you is what most people don't know. If you use more than 60% of your available credit, it has a negative impact. It lessens, lowers your beacon score. For example, you have a credit card with a $1,000 credit limit. If you go over $600, if you use more than $600, which is 60% of your credit limit, it negatively impacts your credit score. So try to keep your balances below 60% of your credit limit. Now you may want to spread the balance between a couple of credit cards instead of just using one. So please keep the balances below 60%. In closing, I'm going to tell you 3 things. that I would say are the most important for your credit. Number one, keep your inquiries to a minimum. Number two, make sure you pay your minimum payment on time. Number three, don't use more than 60% of your available credit. If you follow these three rules, it's going to positively impact and keep your credit score as high as possible. In closing, if you have any more questions, you can reach me on my direct line at 604-273-2002, or you can reach me on the web at www.notapennydown.com. As usual, make it a great day, and I hope to talk to you soon.